There's so much excitement here today. I'm just so thrilled to be here. Please continue to gather your food and make yourself comfortable, but we want to get started with our morning's program. I have the pleasure of presenting to you the chairman of our board, Miss Madeleine Deininger, who's going to give a few words of welcome to us this morning. I just wanted to tell you a little story about Maddie. I met her, I think, when I was here on my second interview visit, and she spent the time to sit down with me, and she told me her story, which was that, you know, she was just kind of wandering around, and someone led her to Stockton, to the Pinelands, and to a successful education, and then becoming a very successful businesswoman, in such a way that she gives back tremendously every day. She flies here from all over the world to come and be with us, and she just is very, very supportive of Stockton and very generous of Stockton. So I knew right away when I met her that this was the place that I wanted to be, a place that makes a difference in students' lives. So with that, please welcome our chairman of our Board of Trustees.
What a nice introduction. Thank you so much. Gee, good morning. How could it be September 1st already? Well, it's interesting that Lori, of course, brought up my story because I always tell it. When I'm here at Stockton at this time of year, it's always deeply nostalgic for me. There's the sense still hanging on from all those years of being a student that a new year is starting, a fresh start, a chance to change, refine, or even redefine my focus, my intentions, enthusiasms, and engagements. At this time of year, I can't help but look back. Exactly 40 years ago, in September of 1976, and some of you I know were here. I see some wonderful familiar faces up there, including Harvey. I started my first real semester at Stockton after taking a summer course and realizing that I wanted to stay here. And I remember the kindness of then President Bjork, who called the GED office in Trenton himself to find out when they were giving the next GED test, and then had the Stockton registrar set me up as a non-matriculated student for that fall term. If not for his generous spirit, his ability to see promise in my youth — I was 16 and I'd only just finished my sophomore year in high school — and his taking the time to talk to me, not to mention my boldness in making an appointment to speak to him, I would have probably gone back to high school feeling overwhelmed and defeated in not being able to extricate myself from my old persona, a word I didn't really understand the nuances of until I took my first writing workshop here with Stephen Dunn in January of 1977, and I'm probably misusing it here. But that fall, I was given a chance to work above my level, to recreate myself as an engaged college student, to challenge myself, to seek and find meaningful mentors, to connect with fellow students who were, at that time, a diverse mix of cultures, socioeconomic levels, ages, and experiences. And lastly, to be passionately taught by the extraordinary faculty here at Stockton. And now, all these years later, after taking on the board chair duties, and almost 17 months ago, from our sweet, esteemed chair, Dean Pappas, I've had another chance to work above my level, to be taken way beyond my comfort zone, to be educated, exhausted, intrigued, honored, and humbled by my Stockton duties and by my Stockton colleagues and community. What a ride it's been, and will continue to be as I start, as of this month's board meeting, my own 2-year term as board chair. As co-chair of the Shared Governance Task Force, and I'd like first to give a shout out to all the task force members for their diligence and enthusiasm for the subject, and for their time-consuming work, including over this summer. I want to let you know that we'll be scheduling listening sessions again this fall. There was feedback that you'd like them to be more topic-specific, and we'll do that. And our early fall session will focus on the mission, vision, and value statements we'll be working on to get your feedback. Our late fall sessions will center on the results of our shared governance survey. The staff was surveyed in the spring with some very interesting results. Faculty and students will be receiving surveys soon, so be on the lookout for yours the week of September 12th. Seems like a good segue to tell you. I know our Stockton community listens and learns from one another. The Board of Trustees depends on this. It's part of Stockton's bedrock, its foundation. And I hope you can appreciate that you are all part of the journey we have been collectively taking and helping each other take. I hope you can sense the differences at the board level. We've all challenged ourselves and been encouraged to do so by Dr. Kesselman to participate in new, more inclusive ways. And while we have had several fine board colleagues retire, we now have 3 new board members who have brought fresh ideas and points of reference, unique competencies, and great energy to our meeting table and efforts. I hope you will find time to come to know them. I'm living in Berkeley, California these days, and last August I found myself sitting on a bench off to one side at one of the Saturday farm markets. Across from me, a man was handing out little cards, standing in the middle of the walkway, smiling and talking to people. There's the card. Kept it all this time. Of course, I was curious, so I went over and he gave me a card. That was in the midst of what I would kindly label the Stockton troubles, when showboat was still a heavy concern leading to many sleep-interrupted nights for a lot of people here today. And thank goodness we had managed to keep Harvey and Lynn from going to Maine by then. The heading on the card, yeah, absolutely. The heading on the card said, "Increase the amount of compassion in the world." Even though I've lived in Northern California for over 20 years now, at heart I'm still a New Jersey girl, a bit of a skeptic, maybe even a cynic. But about a week later, I actually read the darn card. And in the midst of this huge personal learning curve of being chair, I came to deeply appreciate what was on it. At the top of the card was written, "Compassion exercise." This exercise can be done anywhere that people congregate. Try to do all 5 steps on the same person. Expected results are a personal sense of peace. Step 1, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, "Just like me, this person is seeking some happiness." Step 2, "Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering." 3, "Just like me, this person has known sadness, loneliness, and despair." 4, "Just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill needs." 5, "Just like me, this person is learning about life." And here's my albeit slightly goofy board chair preamble to your fall conference this morning. As our new year begins, let's seek to remember to give kindness and open minds to each other, to see ourselves in others, as well as to accept and even ask for kindness and open minds in return, and yes, compassion. Thanks so much for your time this morning.